Hello there. I'm Andy Ludwig, and I've been playing StarCraft for the past 12 hours. I'm unable to fully move my legs, and I have a case of double vision. Video games have been known to do that to the human physiology if played in a long period of time. But how do they affect society? And more importantly, the social habits of the individuals in that society? Well, that's what we're going to be finding out tonight in this edition of Digital History Now. Hi, I'm Andy Ludwig, and welcome to the Finals Week edition of Digital History Now. Tonight we'll be talking about video games, or as my dad calls them, those things that losers play instead of sports. Now, we won't be talking about specifically video games tonight. We'll be talking about their effects on society as a whole. Not really society, but as we said in the preface, sort of how they affect the health and well-being in a social sphere of the individuals in societies. We have a couple guests for you tonight, and a lot of studies that will prove that it's not quite a cut-and-dried answer. Video games have existed in our society for long enough that we can take a look at the lasting effects that they'll have. Everybody has in their household an Xbox One, a PS4, or a ColecoVision of some sort. But now we can take a look at how they affect us in the broad scheme of things. Take a step back and sort of unpack that. And that's what we plan to do tonight. Video games. They're so pervasive in our society as a whole, and it's not hard to see why. They're so much fun to play. According to Time magazine, 63% of households in the U.S. hold a quote-unquote frequent gamer, and the average frequent gamer spends about 6.3 hours a week playing video games. That doesn't sound that bad. That doesn't sound like it could have any adverse effects on social habits. Well, a study from the U.S. National Library of Medicine begs to differ. This study was conducted in central Iran by Dr. Eshrat Zamani and Dr. Ali Karadamand. They're doctors of social sciences, and they took 3 primary schools in central Iran and took 200 students from each. 100 were being identified as addicted to video games. Now, the addiction was defined as agitation whenever they were pulled away from video games, habitual playing, daily playing, game binging, and various other addictive traits. And the other 100 of each sample size were defined as just normal kids. Now, every student from these primary schools was given a 39-question questionnaire based on social attunement. And the normal students scored a lot higher than the addicted students. So as you can see, a lot of experts in the field of social sciences believe that video games have adverse effects on not just children who play them, but adults who play them as well. And they have adverse effects in the social sphere. And also especially with people that are quote-unquote addicted. Now, I have a person with me that has a profound opinion on that, Bobby Selinger. How's it going, Bobby?
Andy, nice to see you.
Good to see you, too. So, tell me, do you play video games much?
I dabble. Not much. I'd say about an hour to 2 hours a week.
Do you know anyone that sort of plays video games more frequently than that?
Would you say religiously?
Yes.
I'd say my little brother, yes.
Really?
Yeah. I'd say about 16 hours a day. And the other 8 of the 24 is sleeping to get ready for the next 16 hours of the next day. Yes.
Wow. So, did he like have any? When did he start playing? I guess I should ask.
Well, I got my first PlayStation whenever I was in 8th grade, PlayStation 3 at the time, and my little brother asked to play, and I was like, sure, big brother, let him have what you have, enjoy the things, and he just never stopped.
Really?
Yeah.
Have you been seeing any sort of different effects on his personality or his social habits?
Social habits for sure. He doesn't ever look at things the same way, I guess I should say. And to elaborate on that more, I'd say he puts things in social perspective.
And does he play many single-player games, or does he play
a little bit of both. And when it's not a single-player game, because you hear him screaming profanities at the others in his game.
All right, well, that's all the time we have. Thank you very much, Bobby.
Well, thank you.
We can't take this as gospel. I mean, first of all, they're just kids. Kids are irresponsible. And also, let's take a look at the gamer that isn't quite addicted to games, but just plays them habitually, that plays them a lot and doesn't have a problem being pulled away from them. A study conducted by Dr. Catherine M. Keyes that was published in this Journal of Social Psychiatry and Psychiatric Epidemiology found quite the contrary. It took a sample size of students in European primary schools and actually found that as kids that played, there was a 1.7% increase in the odds of higher intellectual functioning in kids that play video games. And also the kids who tended to play video games were also found to be 1.88 times more likely to have better school competence in general. This sample size was 3,195 kids ages 6 to 11, and obviously, Keyes didn't take these findings as gospel either. She said that video games can't replace parenting and actual social interaction, but said that it can hurt. Keyes goes on to expound, and even stating that video game playing is often a collaborative leisure time activity for school-aged children. She then goes on to say that these results indicate that children who frequently play video games may be socially cohesive with peers and integrated into school community. Now, community, that's an interesting topic, because the next point of this documentary is the fact that video games do create a sort of collaborative environment and a community, and no community does it better than World of Warcraft. World of Warcraft, the 9-year-old MMORPG, that stands for Massively Multiplayer Online Role-Playing Game, prompts its players to live in these constantly changing environments with other people. They're constantly communicating and constantly collaborating with others, and actually are forced to complete tasks with others. Now, these communities are ever changing, ever growing, and even have manifested themselves in events like BlizzCon. Blizzard Entertainment created World of Warcraft, and BlizzCon is an event where fans of Blizzard games, mostly World of Warcraft, can come and meet each other, can come talk about it, and can come manifest that community in the real world. So with me tonight, I have Sam Predabon. Sam, how's it going?
Not too bad, Andy. Thanks for having me.
No problem. And he's a self-proclaimed video game aficionado.
It's true.
So Sam, please tell us, what is a video game?
Well, video games, also known as vidgames, are a virtual world in which one can be something else. It's really nice because with kids that have problems in home life, such as depression or maybe their parents are fighting, it offers a form of escape. So maybe I'm not the loser whose parents are arguing and hitting each other. I'm a grand warrior saving the world from a dragon.
Ah, wow, quite the opening statement, sir. So you've played a lot of video games before, haven't you?
Absolutely.
And you've frequented online communities that come with those video games, correct?
Unfortunately.
So would you mind expounding on, mostly focusing on the social aspect of games, how have playing video games sort of augmented or hurt your social skills and the social skills of those around you? And also feel free to expand on any friendships you may have made in those in video game encounters.
Well, a lot of the community comes from a genre of games called MMORPGs. That stands for Massive Multiplayer Online Role-Playing Games. I played a lot of those kinds of games. I made plenty of friends on those games. In terms of real-life interaction with those friends, I've even met some of them in real life, and they turn out to be good people. But a lot of the times, whenever you're sucked into the game so much, and you're used to typing out what you're saying, it doesn't come with the proper reflections when you translate it into real speech. So a lot of the times, people in the real world who aren't used to the way you talk can mistake you for being dry, for being very rude, but that's just how you normally talk online, and it would work.
Would you say that the technological innovations of voice and video chat that now come along with video games have helped that?
Yes and no. A lot of the times with video chat, you can put anything up on the screen as your camera. So I wouldn't necessarily have to show a picture of my face. I could show something else entirely. A stupid GIF of a dog running in circles or something to that degree. In terms of voice chat, while that can be helpful in team-based games like League of Legends or Heroes of the Storm, it's very helpful because it's instantaneous communication and you don't have to take a pause from the game to type. But other games, it's just a lot of spam, and people will try and disrupt you over voice chat. So it's really pick and choose how you want to play the game. I will definitely say voice chat has moved competitive gaming as well as social gaming to a whole new level. But video chat is probably not going to get that far because you still need to pay attention to the game, not the video.
So sort of close this out, would you say that video games don't pose a threat to the social habits of those who aren't quote-unquote addicted, those who don't get angry whenever they're taken away from it, those who don't depend on it on a day-to-day, those who just play habitually? From a man who has played habitually that doesn't consider himself.
The games aren't dangerous. Video games are just like anything else. People can be addicted to pretty much anything. It's all about the person. Chances are, if the person's addicted to video games, if you took those video games out from their life completely so that they never encountered video games, they'd probably be addicted to something else. That's just how a person would work. So, video games are easy to access, and comparatively to drugs and alcohol, they don't cause as much physical damage. But the psychological damage can be strained. Video games are not a bad thing. It would be the people who use them that give them a bad image.
Well, hey, Sam, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Well, that's all the time we have on this episode of Digital History Now. I hope you took away something insightful. Do video games hinder social behaviors, and do they just create these animals? Or are they a good thing that can bring people together and teach social skills through different, more innovative means? If I had to guess, I would say that it's somewhere in between. I would say that neither side is right, but neither side is wrong. It's all about individual cases, and it's all about how people take them. So, signing off from Digital History Now, this is Andrew Ludwig. Have a great night, America.
Nothing makes a blood boil like a Costco run plus, realizing the end of